The 1980s was a landmark era for science fiction cinema, with classic movies like The Empire Strikes Back, The Road Warrior, and Aliens releasing in the decade. Many films in this era were quite progressive, introducing audiences to strong female and minority characters. One of the lesser-known films of this era is Ridley Scott's science fiction classic Blade Runner, starring Harrison Ford, Rutger Hauer, and Sean Young. Backed with a dark and mysterious synth soundtrack scored by legendary Greek composer Vangelis, Blade Runner is one of the most immersive and atmospheric films ever produced. Along with William Gibson's novel Neuromancer, the film is credited with the creation of the cyberpunk genre, a science fiction subgenre marked by the confluence of high tech and low life. Although Blade Runner is ostensibly an action film, it operates on multiple dramatic and narrative levels. Film noir, morality, paranoia, humanity, and identity are all themes prevalent throughout the movie. Blade Runner is often cited as one of the best science fiction films of all time, and while certainly sci-fi, many parallels can be drawn between Scott's gritty vision of the future and our own contemporary world. Blade Runner is set in dystopian, cyberpunk Los Angeles, circa 2019. The city is filled with flashing neon, powerful megacorporations, and hyper-advanced technology. One of the more advanced of these technologies are genetically engineered humanoid robots known as Replicants. As depicted in the opening crawl, the Replicants are manufactured by the powerful Tyrell Corporation. The Replicants are visually indistinguishable from adult humans, but can feature superior strength, agility, and intelligence. The use of replicants on Earth is banned, and they are exclusively utilized for dangerous or menial work on off-world colonies. Replicants who defy the ban and return to Earth are hunted down and killed by special police operatives known as Blade Runners.
There was an escape from the off-world colonies 2 weeks ago. 6 replicants, 3 male, 3 female. They slaughtered 23 people and jumped a shuttle.
The plot focuses on a group of 4 recently escaped replicants hiding out in Los Angeles, and the burnt-out expert Blade Runner, Rick Deckard, who is reluctantly called out of retirement to hunt them down. The film is beautiful in the way that the story is told, with tiny visual cues that point to something much greater. Visual elements play a key role in Blade Runner, with eyes, hands, and unicorns all making important recurring appearances throughout the movie. The symbolisms in the film are enhanced through the ways that Blade Runner uses light and shadow. It allows itself to be beautiful, with long, hanging shots that really enhance the emotion of the film. Throughout the movie, the audience is constantly being told that the replicants are the bad guys. Blade Runner opens with one of the replicants, Leon, killing a man testing to see if he is synthetic. Roy and his collaborators have come to Earth to try to extend their meager 4-year lifespan, and are not afraid to manipulate and murder humans in order to do so. But are the replicants really bad, or are they just depicted as artificial and ruthless antagonists by the film? Media theory dictates that the primary sense used in the medium influences the way that the messages conveyed by that medium are perceived by the audience. Who is the story told through? Rick Deckard, a man who has made his life out of hunting and killing rogue replicants. Deckard does not consider the replicants to be human in any way, and views them as an inferior race, so it makes sense that the story focuses on the negative perspective.
You Nexus, huh? I design your eyes.
Sure. If only you could see what I've seen with your eyes.
When looking through the lens of Roy Batty, the replicants become much more sympathetic. Replicants aren't just strong, mindless robots. They are sentient, artificial humans, each with independent thoughts and personalities. They are susceptible to emotion, showing displays of anger, sadness, joy, and love throughout the film. one purpose of their short existence is to perform slave labor for their human creators, so its desire to escape is not so far-fetched. They are not bloodthirsty androids from the far reaches of outer space. Rather, they are synthetic humans who have a desire to live a fuller, human life. Roy's replicants are on Earth in order to improve their lives in an effort to become human. And despite all their interactions with Deckard, there are scenes where replicants actually come off as sympathetic, such as Jan's opening Voight-Kampff test.
I already had an IQ test this year.
Deckard in Zora's dressing room.
I'm from the American Federation of Variety Artists.
Pris's interactions with J.F. Sebastian.
I made them. Where are your folks?
I'm sort of an orphan.
Oh.
And Roy meeting with his creator.
What seems to be the problem?
Death.
Death. Well, I'm afraid that's a little out of my jurisdiction.
I want more life, Father.
In some instances, the replicants show a greater display of humanity than the human characters do. The climax of the film features Deckard and Roy, who has come to the end of his 4-year lifespan, battling through Sebastian's apartment block. Roy, a combat model, is able to easily batter the weaker Blade Runner. When Deckard is hanging off a cliff in the final scene, Roy raises Deckard to safety. The dying Roy understands and displays empathy, a selfless act. The finale draws the question of whether Deckard would display the same sentiments if the tables were turned. As Roy is shutting down, he begins a famous monologue known as Tears and Rain.
I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion. I watched sea beams glitter in the dark near the 10-house gate. All those moments will be lost in time. Like tears.
The final line showed that Batty wanted to make his mark on existence. The replicant in the final scene, by dying, shows Deckard what a real man is made of.
To die.
Many of Blade Runner's science fiction themes are highly reflective of our contemporary world. A group of renegades illegally immigrating to California in order to improve their lives. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Race is depicted mainly through the eyes of Deckard, the white human. This is similar to having Fox News being your main provider of immigration and refugee information. Tyrell building replicants for dangerous work is similar to large corporations utilizing what is essentially slave labor and manufacturing during our day. It is inevitable that there would be some who will try to rise up and seize a better life. Blade Runner should also be noted for the way it literally shows social hierarchy. The upper world, dominated by rich megacorporations, is crisp, clean, and mostly white, whereas the lower world is dark, dirty, and multicultural. Turkish scholar Metin Bosnak suggests that the replicants can even be compared to the Book of Genesis. God makes man in his image in Genesis, humans make machines in their image in Blade Runner. Schema theory argues that memories are new constructions made from bits and pieces of connected experiences and applied to meaning-making as situations demand. In the film, Rachel is a replicant designed to believe she is a human. Her false reality is created through childhood memories from Tyrell's niece, implanted during her construction and accepted as her own. Rachel's series of connected experiences form her memories, even though they are not her own.
See me.
This is also true with our protagonist, Rick Deckard. Throughout the film, Deckard is accompanied by his mysterious handler, Gaff. Gaff was a former Blade Runner who was injured in the line of duty, and now they have the mother of all replicant problems with their best Blade Runner unable to hunt. So they take all of his skills and memory and put them in a replicant, Deckard. It's why Gaff is so resentful to Deckard throughout most of their time together. Deckard is doing the job he should be doing, but can't because of his injury. It's also why Gaff knows that Deckard dreams of unicorns, because those are literally his dreams. He only softens up to Deckard at the very end, when he's finally done with Batty. And what does he say?
You've done a man's job, sir.
To Gaff, that's the ultimate compliment. You've done well as a human. While this isn't explicitly stated in the film, many clues support the theory. Ridley Scott even said it himself.
And when they come out, there it is. Looks like a unicorn.
And it means?
He's a replicant.
This realization shatters your entire perception of the film. But the one human you thought you could get behind was actually a replicant all along. How can you trust anything that comes from Deckard's perspective when it was all turned on its head from the beginning? This is where Blade Runner totally changes as a movie. It is no longer a film about a cop hunting down renegade synths. It's a story about an android that finds his humanity. Deckard being a replicant proves exactly what Roy crusaded for, that the synthetic replicants are just as human as their flesh and bone creators.